What's up, Team Ubermensch? It's Brandon here. You might know me as Taco. Once again, we're coming back to you. This is gonna be my intro video or re-intro video. Obviously, you guys know we restarted the channel, and we're all gonna be going about doing reintroductions just in case you're new here. Which I don't blame you. Last time we made a video before this spurt was 3 years ago. Anyways, I digress. So yeah, I'm here. I'm gonna tell you about me as a player and the decks that I like to play. Right now I have 5 clans, and I usually span out into each archetype of the clan, unless I really don't like it, but I think I touch on most of my archetypes. So we're going to start off with Tachikaze, my starting deck, to be honest. Well, okay, not my starting deck, my favorite deck. My starting deck was actually Musketeers. That was the first deck I ever played with, but Tachikaze's is where I fell in love with the game and had fun with the mechanics of it. If you're wondering why it's Sweep as opposed to any of the actual boss monsters, it's because Sweep got lucky and went under the radar. Everyone was talking about Angerblader. Angerblader this, Angerblader's broken, yada yada yada. By the way, this is going to be a partial salt video because fuck you guys. Angerblader didn't need to get hit, right? This card did, and I'll explain why. So Angerblader was prominent for a good chunk, like a month and a half or 2 months. And I get it. When you're swinging multi-attack before they're even at grade 3, it's hard to live that. But swinging 9, 17, and then 9 to 17, or 17 to 14, that's not really that scary. Sure, it's a lot. It's a decent number of attacks, but it's not that scary, right? You can drop 10k shield, and you're on grade 2, you're still blocking cards. Not to mention, if you hit a trigger, you're still blocking these cards. However, this fucker right here, this guy says, when it attacks, put top card of your deck into the gauge, right? Cool. Now, if you have 3 gauges, he gains 5k. Well, for each gauge, he gains 5k. Continuous. That's his continuous skill. If you have 3 in him, he cannot be retired. He cannot be chosen by card effects. Oh, by my opponent's card effects. That means this motherfucker can't be retired unless it's a board wipe. And trying to swing at him when he has 3 means he's at 24. He's a 24k body. You're swinging to a 24k body. That's like most times 1 card guard. Even on Vanguard swings, especially early game. Easy. Now, even if they would have limited him to 2 or outright ban him, Angerblader would not have been as scary, but Tachi's would have still been able to they would have been able to play with the current meta to this day, I believe. Which is a testament to how strong Angerblader is, but once again, the main issue is him, because right now he's really good. He's still one of the problem cards in any deck, except for anything that has board wipe, But he's the carrying card. You're playing 4 of him in just about every build. And we have Tachi support coming out soon with Gaia, who is alright. I think he's pretty lackluster. He has plays. I think his support's really good, but Gaia himself is pretty lackluster. I digress. But yeah, so Tachi's is the first clan that I've gotten into, and it's my main one. Though Musketeers, I told you how this was my actual first clan, my first deck time playing the game. Cecilia's here because, oh god, I have a history with Asha. But Cecilia's always been way more fun than in standard. Cecilia's been way more fun than Asha has, because Asha is cute. You get 3 attacks. They all get the same crits and power as Asha. But most times, you guys have seen my deck profile, I don't like pure Asha builds because you're relying on triggers to hit decent numbers. Yes, you can get super, stupid big with Antaro and, the tree Trent. I forget his name. But she gets her units big on her own. 10k to the front row. right? And then on top of that, you go, if you play Enos, if you play any unit that gets stacked, Corolla Dragon, the Great One, you gain power, like, you gain power for playing her. You call 3 cards, that's 15k to, that's 15k power boost to Enos. That's 9k power boost to Corolla Dragon, which doesn't seem like a lot, but that's a 17k booster. On top of the 10, it gets there. But yeah. I played Sicilian Premium too, same with Tachi's, obviously. Before it was called Premium even. And Neonectar definitely needed to get hit for Premium. Like, loved you, Katrina, you were busted. That is the other thing. I think there are 2 clans. I play the decks that got hit the hardest outside of Shadows. I know what you're thinking. Oh, the main list. The main Shadows is still gonna be a good fucking deck. The main won't harm anything about that, right? But yeah, so that's this is my Neonectar boss always. Then we have Murakumo. Murakumo was so garbage before standard format. Hot garbage. I think there was like a recorded of, and this is, I'm counting major events. Major events. Murakumo had a record-breaking 0 tops at any major events. Correct me if I'm wrong. Please do, because I don't know the scene that in depth. I don't really follow stats like that. But ever since standard rolled around, Murakumo has just been like sweeping. As soon as Murakumo came out, they were good, and they've stayed good. Even now, with the fucking, we have Link, Joker, Kagero, the X, Messiah, those decks roaming and just wrecking shit. Murakumo's still a solid deck. Obviously, you play Hyuga, but Murakumo's just up there. Anyhow, Shiryuki's my pick for this because I fucking always love Shiryuki. Like, the aspect of being defensive in some regard, even though mainly her main use is like going in, you make your opponent just like fucking minus 10k, and you go in. Yeah, it's great. But yeah, no, I think Shiryuki was a pretty balanced card for the most part. I think she was a bit too solid with her support, right? Because she could reoccur the soul fairly easily. You could search for her. It wasn't hard. And so, yeah, her going down to 1, not a bad idea at all. Though I will say with Hyuga, this card, like as a one of it don't hurt. I might give you guys a deck profile on my Hyuga build sooner rather than later. But yeah. Shiryuki, she's the tits. Alright, and 4th clan, we got Granblue. Now, Kaitis is here because Night Rose isn't out yet. And once again, I have Assault with the bands that they got for fucking Granblue. What's his name? It's not actually Monster Frank, but fucking grade 3. He had an act ability, Soul Blast to grade 3 from your Soul Blast to grade 3. Discard however many cards that you want. Your opponent cannot guard this one. He gains 5k, and your opponent cannot guard him. Only him. This one attack with the card with the grades that you discarded, and no Sentinels. He automatically got rid of Sentinels. So that means you can't PG him. He's only by himself. He's only 17, and he doesn't gain a crit. So like, sure, I can make it. I have the potential to make it a no pass. Like, you just can't guard it, period. Right? But that's only scary if I hit the crit or you're at 5 damage. Other than that, you block everything else and you just chest him because woo. And that was 3 cards from my hand. 4 if you're playing a deck like Murakumo or, well, something with Shiryuki or something that can guard with grade 3s. It wasn't that ridiculous, in my opinion. Like, you could have gone another route there. Like, Hardleg on all these other, like, extra guard cards where you have to drop 2, you have to drop 3 cards to guard, and it's for the turn. Those cards are stupid, right? Because it's not just, it's negging you so hard. That was just guaranteed hit. but a guaranteed hit doesn't matter if you guard properly. Anyhow, moving on. Yeah, Granblue. Cocytus. I've been playing Granblue for a minute. This was before Night Rose in Premium in the original series. I was playing. Yeah, I played Cocytus as my first actual Granblue deck. The deck sucked because Cocytus could not do anything. The whole thing was you can't call card. You can't. You only get one card to call for Counterblast 2. Remember that, folks. It was Counterblast 2 to call one card. And he just says call 4. I'm sorry, call 2 for a Counterblast and milling 4 cards. It's ridiculous. The game has progressed so much and I'm so happy about it. Yeah. When Night Rose comes out, I'll get you guys a deck profile as soon as I can. And then we have Nubatama. Nubatama. This is one of the few decks that I actually did not play before Standard. Not because I didn't want to, because I always loved the hand gimmick mechanic, but it was mainly due to the fact that it was so hard to get the cards because they were super short print, they were old cards, and they were all expensive. And they barely worked, to be honest. Like, because they were so niche and you had to mix them actually with Murakumo cards. One of the only clans that could actually do that had a ruling to do that early Vanguard. It was Murakumo and Nubatama are the same clan for the longest time. But yeah, and that's also why we have Magatsu here, because Magatsu was originally a Murakumo unit, which is why he has such a weird fucking skill for a Nubatama card. But yeah, I love Magatsu. If I'm building Shiranui, though it's mainly going to be there for Magatsu because free grade 3 into soul. Woo! Man, Nubatama has been in a rough spot, right? Like someone came up with that build that was really cute, where you play the grade 0 that copies the power of a unit on board, and you play the astral plane guy. I forget his name, but yeah, the Genesis guy, grade 5 that disappears. That was a cute one. It wasn't like sustainable, wasn't consistent. They want to take cards from your hand, but also they have no real pressure after that. Like, oh, you went down to 4, but my units are only swinging for 17. Meh. Nubatama, as of Standard, has had an issue of focus. They have no actual focus on what they want to do. They expanded upon the hand get rid of, sure, but then they added an extra gimmick in the evil tokens, which are cool, but Protect 2 sucks. And that's just that. But yeah. So what I'm gonna try and bring you guys with my deck profiles and my gameplays and all that is an outside build, right? Like, most of my team is gonna do that. Most people will tell you that that's what they want to do with their decks. They don't want a net deck and whatnot. Well, at least I hope, because I've been playing card games for a minute now. But anytime there's a air quote standard, there's a standard way to play the deck, or like a proper way to play the deck, I've always hated doing that. If you ever hear my team call me like a hipster and all that other stuff, it's because I don't like meta. Like, admittedly, I won't lie to you, I've fallen into fucking meta because my deck, all the clans that I liked got hella fucking beefy at the top of the standard. They've all just gotten up there and beefy. And it's been nice. It's been nice sitting at the top for a bit. But even then, I won't play the most generic ways. Like, people with Tachikaze's Anger Blader, people try to run 4 grade 3s, just only Anger Blader, because they wanted him that bad. They wanted to make sure they got the Anger Blader off and killed you. But I hated that, because you get great stuff, you have to obviously G-assist for it. And if you don't get it, you're only playing 4 grade 3s, right? So if you gauge damage, or whatever the fuck else, you don't get your grade 3 that you need, you're boned, right? You sitting there. And I thought that was silly, so I still played my Giga. I played Giga Rex, and I was just like, alright, we're gonna play Giga Rex at 2, we're gonna play Dark Rex at 2, We're gonna fight. We're gonna try and get out in there. Same with Neonectar. I play Cecilia in my Asha build because I consider her a better finisher than Asha is, with the fact that she like also has a tempo boot where early game we have a lot of pressure, but once they get to grade 3, we're not that scary, right? Because they beat the shit out of us, they beat our hands away, and we don't maintain a hand for Asha at the very least. But with Cecilia, I don't have to call cards from hand continuously to get Asha's skill. As long as I have one card in the hand, I can get a board, and the board will be decent numbers. Shiriki wasn't that bad. I wasn't that much of a different player, though. When I played Shiriki, I only ever played 2 because she was searchable, and it allowed me to play cute, like, not extra bosses, but cute extra grade 3s. Like, I played, what's his name, Musashi, drop 2 cards to guard him. He gains 5k if I have more rear guards than you. I enjoyed playing that. I played, but she went in every deck. Her engine, she was literally her own engine with, the grade 2 and the grade 1. She went in every deck because she was just that good. And then Grand Blue was hard to break out of the pack, like I said. Yes, Grand Blue only, as of now, currently, Grand Blue only had one win con, and it was that grade 3, the no guard grade 3. But outside of that, now it's just like a battle of, can I crit you to death? Which is, I mean, you play 12 crits for a fucking reason, but still. Man, like I said, I'm gonna try and bring you more unique deck builds, more ideas that you should like try out. Just cute things that you can do in your decks, and that I want you to not immediately just take from me, but use your brain, take ideas, pick and choose, because that's honestly what you should do. Also, Vanguard YouTube is. I feel like Vanguard YouTube's always been in a weird spot, right? I mean, now more than ever, we have many more content creators, and I really do love it because it gives me a lot of inspiration, and I can go out and actually find deck builds that I'm like, okay, that's not that bad. But early on when we first started, I don't know if you know, but I won't say we clearly weren't the first, but we are a very early channel when it came to our space and our niche, and so we kind of like set a record for ourselves. We didn't name for ourselves in that regard. But yeah, so this is Brandon. Signing out. Have a good one, guys.